So you can see my foot shots that I always like to give you guys. I'm walking, I'm not squishing.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 in my series, Our House in the Trees. This series is all about the design and the building process of our sustainable home on 40 acres of rolling hills and trees. So of course, with all of that beautiful scenery, we wanted to build a sustainable home using as many eco-friendly materials as we possibly could. Before I get too far into things, I just want to point to my blog of housesandtrees.com. That is where I write about all kinds of things sustainable. So what I had planned to cover in this episode was the third month of our build, which was the last 2 weeks of August and the first 2 weeks of September. But there was so much stuff to talk about that I've decided to split it into 2. So episode 3 is going to be the end of August and episode 4 is going to be the beginning of September. There was so much content, I could not fit it all into the 15 minutes that I am allowed to upload because my channel is still very small. You know, you see those people that have, hour-long videos or so. Yeah, that's not me, and that's totally fine. It takes time to grow. So it would be really helpful if you would subscribe to this channel so that it can grow at least to the point that I can post longer videos. Some of the highlights that I'm gonna be covering in this episode is the installation of our metal roof, our decking being installed, our exterior siding, and also about our interior insulation. Something that I have been doing throughout this entire process, shopping at the Restore. I like to think of it as like Home Depot, but where everything has been donated, and then of course the proceeds go to the organization Habitat for Humanity. Some of the things that you could find there if you were renovating or building your own sustainable home would be light fixtures, appliances, flooring, paint, molding, scrap pieces of plywood, sinks, toilets, really anything that you could find at a home improvement store. Our house is going to be a mishmash of new items, gently used items or reclaimed items. To be honest, the majority of our house is brand new materials that have been made for recycled content. But when it comes to things like more like the finishing type things, so when you get your light fixtures, things like door handles, things like light switches, things like vent grates, that sort of stuff, those are the kind of things where you can kind of start adding in the more secondhand. That's kind of where I like to spread all of my thrift loving ways. As far as the bones of the house, again, most of that is new materials, but I will continue to talk about how a lot of those materials are made from recycled content. But first, check out what I found when I was at the Restore back in August.
I found these Edison bulb pendants. I found 2 of them, which is awesome. The only thing is they are the plug-in kind. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to use these for. I think I would like to get them modified to go into the ceiling. I still need to find 2 pendants for the loft in our new house. Maybe I could make some sort of like cage for it, or like find something that I could use as a cage. I don't know. It's like one of those things where you like have an idea percolating and it's not fully developed yet, but you know that you're going to be glad that you made the purchase. So I got this. This was they had a bunch of other Edison bulbs there, but for those of you who aren't aware, Edison bulbs, kind of when they first started coming out, or also known as filament bulbs or vintage bulbs, the original version of them, they were incandescent bulbs, so meaning that they were not as energy efficient as the LED ones. So now you can get the LED ones, and an easy way to tell is that it would say it on the box, but of course if you came across some that wasn't in a box like this one, the incandescent ones, they have the like really thin wire, like really thin, delicate looking like filaments, I guess. And the LED ones have these thicker looking ones. And then also this one actually says, which I'm sure you can't see, but it actually says here EcoSmart. So I consulted with the people who work at the front desk at Restore, and they, yes, agreed that this one was definitely LED. And then the last thing that I got, which doesn't seem exciting, but it's exciting to me because it's an outdoor heavy duty timer. So this is the kind of thing that you would plug in like your Christmas lights to, that you only want on for a certain amount of time. There's some stuff at the Restore that's in the box that, it's like discounted, but it's not a spectacular price. And then there's some things that are like really, really cheap because they have already been pre-used and pre-loved. So yeah, just wanted to share.
Now it is time to talk about potentially one of my absolute favorite things about our new home, Although I will not lie, I'm kind of like how a mom is with their kids, where like all of their kids are their favorite, but it's like for different reasons. Because whenever somebody asks me what my favorite thing about our new house is, I mean, so far, because it's not finished yet, but I usually say everything. But this metal roof was a huge priority for Devin and I. The main reason that we wanted a metal roof, which in the case of our builder, the roof that they provided us with is a steel roof. You could also go a different route and get an aluminum roof, but our roof is a steel roof. And the number one reason that we wanted that was for its longevity. Often used materials such as shingles, like asphalt shingles, which is very commonly used. It's kind of the default where I live. Those types of roofs need to be replaced, maybe every 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Certainly, as with anything, you can get higher quality asphalt shingles or some other type of roofing. But I mean, metal roofs are just known for their longevity. No maintenance, resistant to fire, they're resistant to rot, they're resistant to insects, they're incredibly just sturdy and durable. So of course, when you're talking sustainability, durability is one of the key factors in having something be environmentally conscious, because the need to constantly be replacing things and renovating and updating creates waste when producing new materials, as well as waste when you're discarding the materials that have outlived their lifespan. And according to the Westman website, which is the manufacturer of the steel roof that we had installed in our house, the North American steel industry dedicates 15% of its capital towards sustainable development. I plan to do a dedicated post all about our steel roof in the future. Definitely subscribe to Houses and Trees, because then it will just get sent directly to your inbox when it is done. And I know you're just dying to know more about steel roofs.
Check it out. So usually I start my updates from the front of the house, but I thought today I'd start it from the back. Look at that stunning metal roof. So I'm not sure if I mentioned already to you guys that part of the reason when I redesigned the house the last time that I redesigned it, I made the footprint, like the square footage of the house, smaller so that we were able to afford the metal roof and what is going to be on top of the metal roof right here and on top of the shed dormer there. That's where our solar panels are going to be, because this is the south facing side of our house. Let's go around to the front now.
Moving on from a highly sustainable building material to plastic. Our house exterior and our deck are both vinyl. I think we made the best choice that we possibly could, given the availability of materials that we had access to and given the budget that we were working with. So I'm actually going to talk about the vinyl decking first.
This is our deck surface. Please excuse these little muddy blobs of water that I just tracked up here, because the ground's dirty and I walked on here when it's wet. But yeah, so this was just installed yesterday, went down really quick, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about the material that this is. As a tree hugger, you would think that I would not be really into vinyl, and you would be correct. There are pros and cons to everything, and the pro to a vinyl surface on your deck is that it's completely waterproof. So, I mean, you can see how the water just beads on here, and this is really cool how they wrapped vinyl actually wraps up the side, and then the siding is going to come down and cover over top of it so that the water can't penetrate the house. And then it also, of course, means that the deck surface it's maintenance free. So that was something that when I was doing research about deck surfaces, sustainable options, is that I was reading on some of the green building certification websites talking about maintenance-free decks and how that could sometimes get you points towards the green certification. Our builders, kind of the default deck that they do is just like a pressure-treated wood, and that's originally what we were going to go towards. But the thing about pressure-treated wood, which we had at our old house on the deck, was that it was extremely high maintenance. So you're painting it, you're staining it. This kind of deck is something that Devin actually really wanted, because the maintenance of our previous deck just wore him out, and it was a small deck, way smaller than this one. So he really advocated for this, and I was reluctant at first. It's not a perfect solution, but it's an affordable solution. It's a maintenance-free solution, and we were able to get this from a Canadian company out of British Columbia, which is the province over next to us. And this color here is called Silver Maple, which I think is going to look really nice with the roof. I did try really hard to get vinyl siding that was made from recycled content, and there is a company called Certainteed that does make that sort of vinyl siding, and some of their products are available here in Alberta where I live, but the vinyl siding made from recycled content is not available here because it is not popular enough. Good quality vinyl siding like the one that we installed, which is by a company called Royal Building Products, that will last for a really long time. I did appreciate that on the Royal Building website that they did talk a lot about sustainability, and they did do comparisons between different types of siding and their impact on global warming and their impact on resources. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is our insulation in our home.
Woohoo! It's pretty fluffy looking in here. But yeah, this is what's going on in our house right now, guys.
Talking with my builders about the insulation that they normally use. And I suggested that if they didn't normally use this brand, this is Owens Corning EcoTouch. This, I actually had asked them if they could, and then they said, we actually already use that. So yeah, that's really exciting. The walls are R24 and the ceiling is R40. EcoTouch is made out of recycled content. So you can see right here, it says, if you can read sideways, 73% recycled content. And it's Green Guard Gold certified. That's like an air quality standard because, you know, products that have chemicals in them, such as formaldehyde and that, they off-gas in your house. And then when you're living there, of course, you are inhaling them. So we've got our vapor barrier up so you can't actually see out those windows, but there you go. You can see out the back door. And this is nice too that they sealed all of the joints in between the multiple studs around the window. So, oh, what's that going on up here? Spray foam. Okay, let's go upstairs and see what's going on for insulation up there. Doesn't it look so cozy in here with all of the insulation, like just all puffed up there? Look how thick it is, like right there. Okay, let's go down into the basement now. So I walked around to the other parts of the basement, but it's kind of too dark to see anything again today. Maybe I'll have to come sometime when it's actually daytime, or earlier in the day at least, so that you can see. But there's not a whole lot going on down here. And that is all for this video of Our House in the Trees. Again, please subscribe to this channel or to my blog so that you'll be notified as soon as I post episode 4, which will be the second half of our 3rd month of building. And we'll cover such fun topics as attempting to balance building a home with several jobs, going to school, and also homeschooling my daughter. I'll be showing you some of my beautiful acquisitions from secondhand places, as well as 2 custom vanities that I had made out of reclaimed pallets, about our drywall brand, about our paint, and about light fixtures. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Colors are like gray and beige and black and beige and sometimes red, sometimes yellow. Oh, my cat's meowing at me through the door right now. Hey, Skinny. Why are you flashing?
I don't know. Oh, so much